I got a call from a lady just then.
Okay.
Janice somebody.
Okay.
She's up in the years. She knows about all the music shows, everything.
Right.
Last year, she tried to get me to come downtown to some autumn thing and play a little 30 minutes on a stage or something, do the voice board, do whatever.
And let's make sure to pull this up here because this is the Dale Wiley Show with Mike Reed, and we're going to start calling our show. We're going to start calling our show Knee Deep in Rubber because that's something that your dad always said.
Yep. And your name is Mudflap, and mine is no, we won't use that name. But listen, this lady called me. She tried to get me to do this thing downtown last year, and it was right when I started having a problem with my feet, so I couldn't. I just didn't think I was going to be able to do it. So she just called, and she's hooked up with one of the guys at a radio station in Forsyth.
All right. Sounds wonderful.
This guy used to rob trains for 10 years at Silver Dollar City. I probably know him.
So we know all the train robbers.
He does Saturday afternoons,
Right.
and he just takes you in interviews. He just, puts you on the radio. Right. The earliest he had was like February 27th or something. I told her, go ahead and put me down.
Yes, and that's the day before my birthday as well. So don't forget, February 28th is my birthday.
Is it really?
Yes, it is. And so I also need to make sure we mention that I got this wonderful surprise in the mail today. And so let's pull it up here where everybody can see. This is Lou Whitney from 1981 in Lawrence, Kansas. And it's a beautiful print from Lynn Wilson, my friend Lynn. And I'm just so very amazed by this. And this is just the first little tip of all we're going to see of all this stuff. And, so you definitely need to know about the musical map of Missouri. And please make sure to understand that many people during the COVID season are really having hard times. And this project is meant to help those people and those musicians and everything else.
Yeah, you're totally right. These are tough times. I mean, it's and not to know exactly what the future holds. I mean, it's man, this virus thing, it could go nuts and break out. I mean, it's
well, and I've got to let you know that there's at least a little bit of chance that my friend Travis Hughes, who's been on my podcast many times, may drop by. He's a Crane boy, and he also likes to come on the podcast and give us his COVID update for a few minutes. So if he shows up, I'll put him on.
Okay. Yeah. It's that's great. I just put a thing on Facebook a little while ago that I was doing this. We do it every day at 4:00. And I put, if you want to find it now, just go on Facebook to the Dale Wiley Show, and you can find it right there. It's I can't believe this lady called me about being on this radio show, what I'm saying is some of the stuff we're looking at, that doesn't hurt at all being on some local radio show.
And that's the thing of this whole thing. Even in the first week of doing this thing, we saw so much growth. It's amazing. And then having Doug Kershaw this weekend, how cool is that? Doug Kershaw.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was the same way. I was like, "Is that Doug Kershaw? Gee whiz!"
He's still in great shape, and he's just such a nice guy. And he was, when I was 3 years old, I was the biggest fan of Doug Kershaw there was. I'll tell you that for sure.
He's a Cajun Fiddle guy. He was awesome. I mean, he's like Cajun Fiddle player on steroids or something like that. He was just. He's like the ever-ready bunny with a fiddle, I mean, he just, man, turn him on is like, he did it.
Yeah.
Hey, I play enough fiddle to play a song or two.
Right.
I used to when I do fairs, I would bring it out and do like Alabama or something like that, like that type of thing. I'd have people come up, boy, that's some good fiddle playing. I wish I had heard some. Well, you done some Charlie Daniels for me. And my brain's going, dude, you just heard the only thing I know on the fiddle. Okay, so it's but that's entertainment. He didn't know it.
It is.
I played the one thing I knew, and he had a good time listening to it. And
what about the washboard? Have you figured out anything more about how to do that on here?
it's here. I got a whole bunch of stuff right here.
Go ahead and give me those jerseys because those are so cool.
Oh, I got jerseys in another. I got tons of jerseys.
Okay, well, show me the one of Gretzky. That was amazing.
I've got Gretzky. When Gretzky went to the Rangers and they did the jersey with the Statue of Liberty on the front, I probably got the only one in the world, because when you get a jersey printed, if you're not a captain, they will not put a C on it whenever you have it there. I bought the jersey when those first came out, and I had Gretzky put on it and everything stitched, and I had him put a C because I knew he would be the captain, which he never was. I have a Wayne Gretzky captain. Look at this. Look at this.
I love that.
This.
Oh, there we go.
This is a washboard, and my story, if I'm out playing somewhere, is, well, when I was a kid, I had a pet rooster. And one day lightning struck, and the rooster stuck on the fence.
Oh,
And I couldn't get him, and he turned into metal, and I couldn't get him off. So I just cut this piece of fence out,
right.
and that used to be my rooster. And check it out. I come prepared.
Yes.
These are washboard gloves.
Right.
I have several pairs. I'm not your ordinary fly-by-night washboard guy, let me tell you. Here's more washboard gloves.
Okay.
They all have custom thimbles with duct tape.
Okay.
The thimbles have to be bent so that your fingers fit on them good. And these are the gloves. When I moved here, I lost them. I couldn't find them. Finally found them. These have been around forever. These are the ones that played in Las Vegas.
Okay.
At the Entertainer of the Year thing, and these have been all over the country, so they're kind of sentimental.
All right.
But yeah, and that one's got a hole in it. I could teach you how to play washboard, Dale.
Okay, let's do it. First, I want to see you do it. That's the thing I want to see.
Okay, yeah, you're going to. Man, that poster you got, that's a good picture of him.
I love this picture of Lou. It's such a great. This is not a poster. This is going to be a print. I'm going to frame it definitely.
Is it a print?
It absolutely is. It's on photo paper and everything. It's so cool.
Okay, this was the original. Let's see.
Okay.
No, this is what I just made. Actually, I was at Hobby Lobby one day or something, and I saw this fence with a rooster on it, so I just. But you can play it because. Scrub the rooster. It's got a cool little button on it right here that says, I don't know, what does it say? It says, I play the washboard. What's your superpower? Okay.
All right.
That's good. So that's just one for giggles. You know, you bring that out and you go, and then I played it so long, I finally made me a real one. Okay. So I keep this one because that was my pet rooster. I keep it. But this one has been around for a long time.
Okay.
And this thing is, I think I brought it down to Crane that time, didn't I?
I think maybe so. Yes, you did. You definitely did.
Now, I don't know if I can play it very good because I haven't been playing. I haven't played this probably in 6 or 8 months, but it's. Hang on. Hang on.
Okay.
Can I get in the picture? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So that's the washboard. It's right. One of those. You whip it out somewhere, and people look at it like, "Oh yeah.
It's
and
easy.
Then you start to play it. Wait, let's see if this works.
Right.
It's got neon lights. Well, it's too bright in here. It's all outlined in neon lights too. Everybody's tried to buy this thing from me.
Right.
So that's why I think if we have, I think when we have our
Right.
big giant theater.
I love those words. When we have the theater.
I learned those from you.
Yes, I know.
We have a big theater. We will have those for sale in the lobby.
Wonderful.
Because now also I play these.
That's cool. Let's talk about them.
And that's just the cigar box guitar. Those are real simple to play.
Okay.
And you take this on the washboard. People are like, well, I've never seen anybody do that. And then they go, well, I really haven't seen anybody do that. Those are very cool.
Right.
Sometimes when I play, I wear the cowboy hat. I grew up in a cowboy hat playing music practically. And then sometimes when you're doing the washboard, I have the old big and rich looking hat.
Oh, yes.
There.
That's quite a hat.
So because the way my brain thinks, if I'm going to walk out on stage,
right.
Well, the lady that called me today, and that she met me all about the washboard. So if I'm going to walk out with a washboard, that's going to be different. Right. But I need to look and do the part too. All of a sudden, be a character.
Right.
Go from being Mike and Dale to Poncho and Lefty or whatever. Yes. Do your thing. So I guess I would call it. I'm kind of animated is not the word.
It's a character, though. You're creating a different person, definitely.
I think that's important.
Right.
I see a lot of music shows around the country, and it's like if you see that's why, like in country music, that's why there's a lot, groups like Alabama and Sawyer Brown. I mean, guys that really had a good show on stage.
Sure.
They were just, George Strait.
Musicians.
Some musicians, Randy Travis, but they just stand and do their thing. Now that's good, but you can also go out to your truck and turn on the radio and hear the same thing that you just heard.
Randy and that's also very short. He's a very short man, so I know that about him.
Very short what? Very
short. He and Nelson and Merle Haggard were all really short. That's just my 2 cents about this stuff.
Oh yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's
there's not.
I'm just saying, there's guys that came out there.
Oh yeah,
and did shows, and they're just fun. It's just, they've added on to it. People are like, this guy and this guy and this guy. They are just very basic. I love it, but then I saw this, and they added on. Didn't make them any better than them,
right?
But it was just something else to see, It's but that's what the washboard. But that gives me the chance. If I'm
talent, that's good. That's big.
If I'm sitting somewhere and I have a little drum machine, or I have a kick drum too, an old Ludwig, a little kick drum that's bright blue, and with the cigar box, you can actually do the one-man band thing. So with one foot, you're doing the kick drum, and you're doing, and this is all. It's because it's different. People don't see it all the time. Like I said, I could be at corporate parties and people, I think I told the story where, I was at the Christmas party for the record label. I told you, and
yes.
I said, I'm like the little drummer boy. I didn't have anything to bring, so I brought my drum. Well, it's not a drum, it's a washboard, but that's me. That's why I think. Whoa, what's happening?
I don't know what happened. Let me check on that. I've learned how to adjust stuff somewhat. Let me check on what to do to adjust this.
February 28th.
28th is my birthday.
Mine's February 10th.
Oh, really?
So are you Does that make you an Aquarian?
I'm a Pisces. So there we are. Sounds like we're doing well. We definitely have the echo off. So that's good. And now let's just stay like this to get
Okay.
this.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. There we
Hey,
are.
what's that? Keep talking. Something fell on the floor.
Okay, well, let's take a minute to mention that this musical map of Missouri is going to be so cool. And probably this week, we're going to see the first drawings of this thing about all the things we want to do with that to help raise the ability for musicians to make money during COVID. I mean, we started a foundation. It's really massive. And who would ever thought to do it but me? It's very strange, but I feel like God told me to do this, but whatever. This is going to help a lot of people, is all I could say.
Well, see, yeah, and see, that's a case where you went outside the norm and thought of something that would help. It's you do that from the business standpoint.
Right.
I do it from the entertainment standpoint. Right. Same difference, though. Go outside the norm. When I was a little kid in school, and you go to school, and all the little kids, second grade, third grade, everybody drew somebody's name, and you got a Christmas gift.
Right.
Every year, for 3 or 4 years, I got them things that you look through and you turn it, and it kaleidoscope thing, and I like first year is like, well, that's kind of cool. Next year, I was at the tree. There's my name. Oh, shoot, it's another one. I got those like every year. I was trying to trade people in the class. I go, look, you got a model car. You want to trade? But it was, yeah, be happy with what you get. It's, but
actually, I had some that reminded me of your dad, and just thinking about all the stuff you used to do, because you always did those huge. What was it? You did see things like peanuts and everything else that were visible, large peanuts things. And what were some of the other ones you did? During Christmas time, that was super cool.
Oh, there's no telling. I mean, it was.
It was good drawings of the Peanuts characters up at your house during Christmas.
Like yeah, I did some stuff like that. Snoopy and a sleigh. I mean, I did some stuff back in the day, even when I lived in Springfield, where I would just take sheets of plywood and draw out the characters I wanted and paint them and put some spotlights on them, put them out at my dad's. Do you remember by any chance the one Christmas my dad had the little used car lot, catty corner from Casey's?
It's where I saw the Fiero. That's the same car lot. Yes.
Well, it was right next to where Perry bought. Right. That is. Well, one year, every year at Christmas, we would Mark Rendell and his wife, right, and me and Chuck Warren.
Right.
We had a group of us, and we decided we were going to go get a Christmas tree and put it up at my dad's car lot for him. So he'd come in on Monday morning and he'd go, hey, look at that. So we took Truck's big flatbed loaded up truck thing. We went way out in the country, and it was kind of like the Chevy Chase movie, because we did That's a Tree. And this was way too big. But we picked it.
Yes. It's amazing.
It was like 18 foot tall or something like that, or 25. We picked it. Chuck had to put it on his truck. We had to call the police and crane to block the highway so we could get it through town to my dad's, because it hung out on both sides. Then we had to Jack Swearingen. We had to get a hold of him.
Right.
He brought the bucket truck out where they'd work on the high lines and stuff. They had to hook the tree to the bucket truck to raise it way up in the air. And then oh my gosh, we had to have a hole where for telephone poles, they had to drill a hole that big in the ground. And then we put this tree there, and it was just unbelievable. And after Christmas, when we cut the thing down, we took it down. We couldn't cut it down because there was part of it that was like 6 foot down in the ground.
Right.
But we made 6 corner post, like for fencing, out of it with the chainsaw. That's how big this was. It did 6 of your big corner posts, and they had to take the bucket truck and put lights around it. And we were just laughing, and everybody's laughing at me. Mark Arundel, everybody's like, I can't believe you picked that tree. Why not? Let's go for it. Let's go to the top. And of course, Daddy loved it. He thought it was great. And but that's think outside the whatever I want to call it,
Box.
which is what you're talking about. Because musicians are having a tough time. It's tough.
And I've even noticed that this week. And there's so much fear and everything else that doesn't need to, prohibit these people from playing their music and do the thing that they're wonderful at. Because even this week, getting to restart the record label, all the stuff we're going to do with that, it's going to be so much fun. And I've just had the most fun, like going through CDs and finding old things I didn't even remember. It's so much fun to see all the stuff that we're going to do.
Well, if you open up your mind and let it kind of wander,
right?
Wonder as in wondering.
Yes.
and decide I don't have to be the norm. I can be different. It can work wonders. I mean, it's totally into it. We both think a lot alike on that type of stuff. Right. I think it's definitely good to help other people. When the lady told me, Janice, when she told me, oh, the guy at the radio station there, he'll love you to death, man. You guys are a lot alike. I immediately just wanted to do it because with things we're doing, I mean, and anybody that's watching this, we're open to anybody and everybody to give us ideals or join in.
Well, I do want to have that Rob Adams on the show because he's such a big fan of yours, and he wants to be on here sometime this week.
So he knows who I am.
Oh yes, he talks about you all the time. He called me. He called me on Monday. I was having this very interesting deal. I was having a phone call with Serbia. It's somebody that's doing this stuff for a platform. It's so cool, from Serbia. And Rob called. I called him back, and he's such a big fan of yours, and I think that he would be a great guest because he definitely remembers your business idea and everything else.
Wow.
You made a big fan in him, definitely.
Well, we had talked about some of the stuff that I moved here to do.
Right.
I didn't move here. I've already seen 2 or 3 theaters that are holding auditions. There's one that's putting in a rock and roll 80s show.
Yes.
I'm like, I did that stuff for real back in the day. I bought Vans tennis shoes back when they first came out. Okay. I thought I could go audition there.
Right.
And take the Paul Stanley guitar or the Flying V. I could, and just spike my hair up, do whatever, I could probably get a job there. Right. Except with the foot, I'm not hopping around real good. Right. And, I am, but with crutches. But I didn't.
That's not the look. That doesn't, we don't need that. We need you doing the stuff you're doing.
I didn't come here. I mean, it's me coming back. There was a lot to it. I was in Nashville, and I was either going to head to Pigeon Forge or Branson. And I just weighed everything out, my mom and her relatives and stuff. I just decided this was more like come back home. Now, today, I was on the phone with Janice and getting ready to be on here with you.
Right.
And it hit me today, all the things I wanted to say to a gentleman in Pigeon Forge.
Okay, let's hear it.
And I was finally to the point of just basically getting to the point with him and saying, I always admired you, and you've been one of my big inspirations, and you admired me. the way he explained me one time, he said, Michael, a lot of entertainers are like this, this. And he goes, you are this. He goes, that's you. He goes, you are so off the wall. He goes, and I've never heard you stay on the same subject for over 30 seconds, I don't think. But
I've never heard it a bit of time. You're always on the subject. It's always awesome.
Well, I was like, is that bad? I go,
no, it's not.
It's kind of like, okay, if you tell me, here, Mike, take this paper and file it away.
Right.
Okay. It's done. Hey, let's talk about something else. Did you file that away? Well, no. If it's here, I know it, I do it, I move on.
Right. Exactly.
And so I finally today said, this little hi, how you doing thing, I've got to just get past that just for my own.
Right. Yeah, because I could tell that that's something that you had to think about, how to do that even.
Well, I've been trying to figure out how to get past point A to point B.
Yes, because we're going on to Z is what I'm going to say.
And I'm so antsy right now about playing or just doing anything. I mean, since September, it's pretty funny. What, knee deep in rubber?
Yes.
Yeah, me and Dale, we're both pretty much knee deep in medical bills, probably. But it's like we came from the same place. We both had a rough year.
Uh-huh.
We both made decisions on trying to do something different. Right. And I'm to the point, you know how it is. I mean, you got days where you got to have days where it's, man, I think I just want to sit on the couch today, just do nothing. But you can't let yourself do that. You just got to.
You got to move past that. You got to have those moments, and you got to move past them, definitely.
Yeah, me and Mudflap there, that's pretty funny. I need to come up with a couple names there, but we've got something in the works that's
right,
very, very good.
Right,
we probably talk too much about it, but it's
nobody
good.
On the internet.
Well,
yes.
if there's anybody out there, I mean, this is a major thing. It's going to take some major investment.
Right.
Yeah, if anybody that watches us knows anybody, get a hold of Dale just to find out about what's going on and
that's fine.
And what we're looking at.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, don't get a hold of me because I'll just start talking about something else.
Just start talking a whole lot, and that's fine. But we can definitely talk to me, and that's totally fine. But that's what's been so fun about this thing, and even when we've seen even the first 5 days of doing the show, it's amazing to see how just being on at the same time really, really helps, makes a big difference.
Well, I watch these and I'm kind of amazed because I've had people say, well, when I saw Perry Vaught and Donna,
right.
when I saw you at Crane that one time,
right.
Donna sat there and she goes, you sound just like your dad sitting there talking to Perry. And I watch these and I do, and I talk in a higher pitched voice than I realized I do. And and I kind of laugh at him, but I watch him. Like I said, Bruce Richardson out in Las Vegas, I called him the other night. What are you doing? Watching you and Dale on the podcast,
And that's what's so fun about this is reconnecting with people and just making the world a little smaller,
Hey, now, are you going to have a way where, say somebody was watching this right now and they said, man, I'd love to jump in there and talk to those guys. Is there a way?
Well, I can send them a link. We probably can't do it that day, but I can send them a link for the next day. I mean, I could do that. And that's why I want to have Rob on this week because, he's such a fan and I want to have him on here. Definitely.
Yeah, it was. Well, this is. It's fun for me. It's fun to go back and watch just to see what I said, because when I would do DJ events in Nashville, I'd have people I knew and people I never knew. They'd go, "Where do you come up with all that?"
Right, the line of talk
that you say for those 4 hours while you're DJing.
Uh-huh.
I said, it just comes out. I mean, I read a crowd. and whatever's coming through my brain comes out of my mouth. I mean, it just it works that way. The gentleman, Darren, and his wife Sheila, grandson that just moved here from Tennessee, like they went with me to a big event one time, and they sat there, and at the end of the night he goes, "Do you have it planned out what song you're going to play next and this and that?" I go, "No, as an entertainer, the most important thing is your crowd.
Right.
You just do what works." And we talked about that one day. I had bands that, oh my gosh, Boot, Scoot, and Boogie would be popular, and we'd have to play it 5 or 6 times a night. But you know what? We played it, and that club owner would want us to come back and give us a raise. Now you got Greg Roberts. You probably don't know him.
No, I don't.
Greg's the guy that played bass with me and worked Sword Art City and stuff.
Okay.
Greg, but I did tell you that one time when we did a thing for hemophilia out of Washington, D.C.
No.
Because I called you on some legal stuff asking you about it.
All right.
But we did it for a few years. Now, this was corporate-wise, this was like $12,000, $13,000, $14,000 event that we did.
Right.
So we had to just stage the whole thing. The one year we did it, we got the Garth Brooks impersonator. Right. We got the Alan Jackson impersonator. These guys, the Alan Jackson guy, you couldn't, well, he does stuff here in Branson sometimes, but it's, but I had to laugh because we met with these people. They flew in to Kansas City from Washington, D.C., and they were the people going to be in charge of signing off what they were paying. Right. And they had already said they didn't want to go over, it was something like 12,000 or maybe it's 13, somewhere in there. But anyway, so I told Greg, me and Greg worked together kind of as in, it's good when you have 2 people because one person can say, well, before I make that decision, I'm going to have to call Mike and I got to talk to him, get his okay. You could work like that. Right. And we're sitting at this big round table having this meeting, trying to get the contract all done. And I told Greg, you guys don't speak up and come up with your own price. No, let's play it kind of laid back and cool here. So they said, well, you guys know that our budget's probably about $12,000 or whatever, 12,000. And right out of Greg's mouth, just like snap of the finger, Greg goes, well, we're going to have 15 or we can't do it. And I was like, I was thinking, Greg, did you just blow this? What happened? And they were like, you think that's your bottom dollar? Greg goes, oh yeah, we've got it all on paper. And they go, well, we can probably go to 15, but that's it.
Exactly. That's part of it.
And Greg was like, he goes, you should have saw your face when I did that. He goes, you were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he opened his mouth. Exactly. But it's, and you get into these things like some of the stuff we're talking about that we're not talking about, but we're talking about, but we are. When you get money is probably the least factor of it. Right. Because there's people that invest in shows and businesses. This down Branson, I mean, you haven't been down there. You haven't seen the big giant octopus that's here now, hanging out over the street, the big aquarium where they put. I'm sure that, some investor group did that. And it wasn't, it's just a business thing. Right. It's all on paper. And if you're out there and you got your own, we'll furnish the notepad so you can have paper and a pen. and if you want to get in on something very cool, right, we can do it.
Exactly. That's a great place to end this show. DaleWileyShow.com on YouTube and Facebook. Like and subscribe to all those things. And I'm just telling you, there's so many wonderful things coming. Talk to you later.